Hi everybody, this is quiz review for lesson 4, 5, and 6. For lesson 4, what we did was power to a power, which is that power rule on your wheel. So for power to a power, we multiply exponents. Lesson 5 was negative exponents into the power of 0. Our negative exponents, we flipped and made them positive under 1. Anything to the 0 power is 1. For lesson 6, what we did for lesson 6 was scientific notation. So we spent some time together in class working on that, and everyone did a really great job. I'm so impressed. It's very exciting. So I'm going to walk you through these worksheets that I sent home for you to practice. We're going to look at number 1. Our instructions say, simplify, express using exponents. So when it says express using exponents, your answer is going to include an exponent. So if we look at this, this is 7 to the 4th power to the 5th power. That is a power to the power. We're using our power rule. What do? You're going to multiply those exponents. Okay, so for number 1, we're going to take our base of 7. Then we're going to multiply 4 times 5 to get 20. Okay, we're going to do the same thing with number 2. We're going to take our base x, and we're going to multiply our exponents. That's 3 times 7, and that is 21. So we have x to the 21st power. I'm going to go down here to number 3. We have 2 to the 3rd power, to the 2nd power, to the 4th power. So that's power to power to power. Okay, so we're doing the same rule. You can type directly into your calculator 3 times 2 times 4, and then you'll get your exponent for 2 as 24. Okay, so we're going to walk through 4 and 5 together. We're going to simplify these expressions. Now this again is power to a power. We have 7w squared all to the 6th power. Now Mrs. Sebecki did a great job in class explaining to us how this 6 needs to be distributed to each single piece. Okay, so we have 7, and that has to be taken to the 6th power. We also have w to the 2nd. So what do we do with our power to a power exponents? We multiply them. So we're just going to take 2 times 6, and we'll get w to the 12th power. Okay. Now I would like you guys to write out what 7 to the 6th power is. So I'm going to review how to put that in your calculator. You're going to do 7, that caret that points up, and then 6. And you'll get an obnoxiously large number that looks like, as long as I'm correct, 117,649. And we still have that w to the 12th power. Okay, now we're going to move on to 5. So again, we have to take this 8 and apply it to every single factor. Every single piece. So we're going to take negative 6 to the 8th power. Now, when you type anything with a negative sign or a fraction, you have to use parentheses. So I'm going to write that in. Negative 6 to the 8th power. Then we're going to do r to the 5th to the 8th. So again, that's the 5th power to the 8th power. So we multiply. 5 times 8 gives us 40. Now we have s to the 9th power to the 8th power. So we're going to take s. 9 times 8 gives us 72. Okay, once we work that out, you on your own, you're going to type into your calculator negative 6 to the 8th power. You'll write out your number and include r to the 40th, s to the 72nd, and you're done. 6 and 7. These are guaranteed points. You need to always know that anything to the 0 power equals anything to the 0 power equals 1. Anything to the 0 power equals 1. So if I told you 3,017,000 million to the 0 power, that is 1. So if you're looking at 6 and 7, they're both to the 0 power, so what do they equal? 1. All right, on to our next page. So write the following expressions using positive exponents. So for lesson 5, we talked about how do we rewrite our negative exponents. So let's review. Under any number or variable, there is this 1, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to flip it and reverse the sign. So you're going to move this 5 to the 7th power to the bottom, make it positive, and keep that 1 on top. Okay, the biggest mistake that I've seen a lot of people make is you want to take that 7th power and you just want to write it on the top. And that's not how this works. You take the reciprocal, so you bring that 1 up and you move 5 to the 7th power to the bottom. So we do that same thing with x to the negative 4th. X to the negative 4th moves to the bottom. It becomes positive and it's all under 1. 10 and 16. So this is a math skill that we didn't really get to work on, but I just want to expose you guys to it. Write the following expression using a negative exponent other than negative 1. So for number 10, this is 1 over 3/4. So we know that if we are going to write this with a negative exponent, we would bring the 3/4 up and make it negative. This is just the reverse of what we did for 8 and 9. For number 11, this is a skill we haven't really talked about it, but we'll run through it. We're going to take 16 and express it using an exponent other than negative 1. So I know that 16 is 4 times 4. 16 equals 4 times 4. And we can rewrite 4 times 4 as 4 squared. Right? 1, 2, 4 squared. So that means that 1/16 is actually 1/4 squared. 1 to the 4th power. 1 over 4 squared. Yes. So how we're going to rewrite that is we're going to take our 4 squared to the top and make it negative. Okay. So number 12. This is something that is review. We talked about this in lesson 2 and 3. We are multiplying here. We are multiplying the monomial x to the negative 10th times x to the 8th. So this is what we did, and this is the product rule on your wheel. We took our base x and we added our exponent. So you're going to add negative 10 plus 8, and that's going to leave you with negative 2. Okay, now we have to remember what we did with negative exponents. Okay, I never want an answer unless I ask for negative exponents, with negative exponents. So we have to rewrite this. So again, the x squared moves to the bottom with a positive sign, and it's under 1. Okay, 13, 14, and 15. Everyone was fantastic at changing things from standard form to scientific notation. So what we do is we are going to rewrite 4.667. And we are going to take that decimal point and move it 3 to the right, because that's what our exponent is telling us. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, And we're going to fill in that placeholder with the 0. So when we write that, this equals 4,670. Okay, you guys try 14. Remember that exponent is 7, so how many times are you going to move it to the right? 7 times. For 15, we have something different. We have 1.23 times 10 to the negative second power. So if we have negative exponents, that means that we're going to go to the left. So we have 1.23, and we're going to take it to the left 2 times. So we have 0.0123 as our answer. Okay, so remember, if you have a negative exponent, your number here is going to get smaller. See how it became a smaller decimal? That's what should happen when you have a negative exponent. Okay, so 16 and 17, we're going to write each in scientific notation. So how we do this is with number 16, we have 12,345,678. You always assume that the decimal is at the end of that big number. Unless the decimal is already on there, you're going to keep it at the end of your number. Okay, so now we have to move that decimal to make a number between 1 and 10. Because remember, we need that number times 10, and then we also need to find that exponent. So we are going to take this decimal and we're going to move it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 places. And we're going to rewrite it as 1.234567 We're doing that times 10. And we moved it 7 times, so our exponent is 7. Okay, the most important thing to remember is that this number has to be between 1 and 10. If we moved it 6 times, we would get 12.345678, and 12 is not between the numbers 1 and 10. So you have to remember that. Okay. For number 17, we're going to move that decimal to create a number between 1 and 10. So we're going to move it to the right 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So we get 2.3 times 10 times 10, okay, to the what power? So we said we moved it 3 times, correct? But in comparison to 16, when we moved it to the right 7 times, the left 7 times. For 17, we had to move it to the right. So we went from a decimal to a bigger number. So our exponent must be negative. Okay. So overall, what you need to remember about lessons 4, 5, and 6 is that when we're using power to a power, we multiply those exponents. When you are doing negative exponents, you flip it and make the exponent positive. And for scientific notation and standard form, you have to remember your first number must be between 1 and 10, and you have to watch for that negative or positive exponent. Okay?